If you'd like to get a copy of Python, it's another one of those free applications, and it has its own integrated development learning environment, or an IDLE, is what it's called. There's two different versions you can get for Windows. There's a 3.5 and a 2.7. I downloaded the 3.5 just because I don't like working with older versions. If you had like Windows 7 or you had an older computer, maybe you would want this one, but I always try to live on the cutting edge as far as development environments go. So this is the one I downloaded. Notice there's a version for a Macintosh right here also. They work exactly the same. Ugly environment though. And in fact, let me open it up here and I'll show you just how unpretty the environment is. That's why it's really compared to a scripting environment more than anything. But it does actually run programs. So this is what shows up. So when you run this, you'd be like, oh wow, okay, this is not too exciting here. So what am I supposed to do? So in this case, you're going to go to New File, and we go to New File, and we'll just do random code, and I'll pull some. Oops. Um, Actually, what I can do is I can just get the code from here. So let's go ahead and take this Monty code that we did here. I'll copy this, and then I'll go back, and then I'll paste this in here. And then I'll go ahead and run this. When you go to run this, you're going to run it as a module. Save it. Sure, we can save it. Let's call it test2. Yeah, because I know I already did that one. And I ran it, and then, okay, doesn't look like anything happened. Well, actually, something did happen, but remember, our code here wasn't complete because we added those print commands. So if I go ahead and add my print command here, and then we did Monty, and then I go to run this, and we save it. It says missing parentheses and call to print. Parentheses. So this is a little bit different than what you did with Code Academy. So in this case, the syntax is actually going to call for print Monty. So now that I have this and I run it, now it outputs what I would expect it to. So as you go through here, this is similar, and we're going to do the same thing. In this case, we're going to do parenthesis and then Python, close parenthesis, and then the last one was print open parenthesis, and this is Monty underscore Python, close parenthesis. So, and we go to run this and then save it. Then it should output all the information that we had here. This is about as, I don't know, uncomplicated as it gets. It's a little bit different, and there's a few statements in here and comments that work a little bit obscure, I guess. So when you work in these environments, the syntax might differ slightly. So in this case, I've got the code here that came directly off of Code Academy. It ran fine here, but it didn't run using the actual Python environment to do it. So when you tinker with this, just realize sometimes you're going to run into a little bit of differences. But overall, Python is good. Again, it's a good scripting environment to get started with, and I'd like for you to get used to using different environments. So if you have time, download and run this. Definitely not a requirement, but this is basically how it works.